Welcome back to the Matt Brown Podcast. The show we have for you today is an exciting one. Jim Graham joins me to talk all things London Airshow. It's taking place September 5th to 7th this year. You're going to learn some history about the air show and what's in store this year as this not-for-profit organization prepares to celebrate its 10th anniversary. But first, a message from our sponsor. We'll be right back.
Discover London Bicycle Cafe. It's the perfect time of year to take a break on their spacious patio, featuring craft beer, espresso drinks, snacks, meals, and more. London Bicycle Cafe at the Forks of the Thames. See you soon.
And we're back. The last couple of episodes have been important, but they've been really heavy conversations. In episode 2, Chris Moss, the Executive Director for London Cares, joined us to discuss homelessness and the housing crisis happening here in London. She shared some important information about the work that London Cares does in our community and how you can get involved. She also let us know that even though the current London City Council has made this issue a top priority, they've directed tens of millions of dollars to addressing this issue. The number of people experiencing homelessness is going up. And it's going up by 50 to 80 people per month. Chris also introduced us to the concept of housing being healthcare and the optimism she has for the future as she and her team continue to work with community partners to address this very complicated issue. And in episode 3, Carol Dick joined the show to discuss forest fires, heat domes, the 5 heat waves that London has experienced over the past 2 months, and the power outages and other consequences that have been directly connected to those heat waves. She made it really clear that the effect of climate change is happening, and it's happening right now, and that social, economic, and environmental consequences are affecting individuals in our community across Ontario and Canada in different ways, and it depends on their life circumstance. Specifically, more negatively affecting those experiencing poverty or homelessness, as well as how she is seeing extreme temperatures being linked to an increase in spousal abuse, violence against women and children, and vulnerable people. These were important topics to cover. And if you haven't already had a listen, I encourage you to download them wherever you get your podcasts. Today, we have a lighter community building topic, the London Airshow. We're going to talk about its history, and we're going to take a glance at what the show has in store for us this year and in the future as well. We are lucky to have Jim Graham joining us for this episode. Jim is a commercial pilot, he's an entrepreneur, he's a dedicated volunteer, and he's the CEO and the owner of Tri Group. This includes Tri Recycling and various other subsidiaries. Tri is the largest recycler of construction and demolition materials in Ontario. As well, Tri is the largest composter of leaf and yard waste materials in all of Southwest Ontario. Jim is also the founding and immediate past chair of the board of directors for Airshow London, which was established as a not-for-profit organization in 2015. That's why he's joining us today. So I'm telling you, this is going to be a good show. You're going to learn a lot more about the Airshow than you ever knew before, and you're going to learn a lot more about where it's been and where it's going. So with that, let's go. Well, welcome to the podcast, Jim.
Hey, I'm thrilled to be here, Matt.
Okay, Airshow London. As you know, this is a favorite event of mine. I'm absolutely a fan. I've loved attending ever since being a kiddo back in the 70s and the 80s. And as you also know, the Airshow was canceled and we thought it was gone for good. But you brought it back in 2016. Why did you do it? How did you do it?
Well, Matt, first of all, I was one of those kids hanging out at the fence, skipping school on Friday to watch the air show in the 70s and 80s myself.
We were probably standing right beside each other.
We were. And we'd be at the fence line and these Cold War jets would be flying over. And London was actually known as the military air show in North America through the late 70s, most of the 80s and early 90s. Back in those days, those shows really were privately managed entertainment events. Late 90s, a lot of the sponsorships changed and the rules in Canada, and those businesses were having tough time sustaining. A gentleman named Barry McGonigal, Sundance Balloons, took over the air show through the late 90s and into the early 2000s. Yeah, it became more and more difficult to sustain as a private enterprise, and the airport was changing too. So Barry wound down kind of the private military air shows in London. I think it was 2002, 2003, 2004, somewhere in that range. Now, I've been a volunteer for many years, since the late 80s. I worked at the airport, kind of slugging bags and sweeping out hangars, those sorts of things. I got involved in the air show there, and I was part of the ground crew. So we did all the parking and moving of the airplanes. And I'm an aviation fan, and I was a commercial pilot. The air show was what I saw it do for generations was turn on young kids to be pilots, to be part of aviation, and to build the reputation of London globally. Yeah, there's a group of us that when things wound down, we were very disappointed and always recognized that London needed to build it back because of the reputation we already had in the world for being the epicenter of air show and epicenter of military air shows. We worked in St. Thomas for a number of years. We founded a show in St. Thomas.
Yeah, that's right. I attended those. I remember seeing you there.
The iteration when we went to St. Thomas was about community and not for profit. So we weren't looking at it to for any personal benefit. We were looking at how we can give back to the community, and we grew the Great Lakes Air Show to the point that it wasn't sustainable anymore in St. Thomas. A few of us stood back from it, and yeah, in 2014. Myself and Gary Vanderhook, who's one of the senior execs at the London International Airport and had been a long-time air show volunteer. After a long night of kicking things around, do you think there's any viability to bring a show back to London? Fanshawe's Norton Wolfe School of Aviation was starting to invest more at the airport. The airport was looking for different things to do. We formed a group, did a number of business case scenarios, but both of Gary Vanderhook, and I'm going to call him Hook and I agreed at that time that if we're going to do it, this is going to be about building community and it's going to be about giving the money back to nonprofits in the community.
Right on, right on. And I want to talk about that too. I can still remember very clearly when I was at the city, of course, at the time, and you came into my office with your team, and you said, "Matt, we want to bring back the air show." And I remember jumping out of my chair and giving you a high five. I was so excited to hear that news.
I remember that too because it isn't something that can be done without the whole community involved, and you and the rest of the rest of the counselors and city staff at the time were instrumental in making sure we could get launched and off the ground. You know, air shows are pretty expensive ventures, and yeah, there's a lot of risk because you're dealing with weather and outdoor events. But we saw what it could do for the families. You saw what it could do for the city. We saw what it could do for continuing education in our city to help it become the aerospace center that we're going to be soon. So it was so exciting. Everybody was on board. It was amazing.
Yeah, it really was great. And here we are 10 years later. Now, COVID affected a lot. During those years, there were all kinds of events that were canceled right across the city, right across the country. Some of them never came back. I can tell you at the time, I was really worried that this would end Airshow London again for our community, but you kept it going. And how did you do that?
You know what, man? As far as I'm concerned, the only good thing that came out of COVID was it made us look at the air show model. And for years, it was like any outdoor event. You got to take a bus in from a parking area and trek half a kilometer to where the general viewing area was. And not a lot of us aren't interested in doing that kind of hard work anymore for our entertainment, our family entertainment. So the idea, as we mulled around as a group, to start a tailgate air show where you get a parking spot and you can bring your picnic basket in, pop out your lawn chairs. It's too hot, you can sit in your car. Your kids can be on an app and understand what's going on. We developed that model. I wish we'd done a Netflix series as to how we got it all approved through the different layers of government during that COVID. But we're the only air show in Canada during COVID. We were the largest public event during COVID in Ontario, and I think in Canada. And what an amazing thing it was. Everybody tailgating for 3,000-4,000 people a day tailgating in a safe, COVID safe environment. And the families finally tried getting outside and getting some family entertainment after a very long spell of the heaviness of COVID.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, I can tell you, my kids and I got a spot and watched the show. It's probably the most exciting thing we were able to do that year. Maybe it was the only thing that we were able to do that year. And it was really great. Like, for folks listening at home, if you haven't been to the air show, if you can't picture this, picture about 20 by 20 box that was marked out with really clear markers. You pull your car in, you're safe, you're away from everybody else, but you're with your loved ones and you're watching an incredible show. It was really fantastic. And I'm telling you that if COVID can't stop this show, I don't think anything can. And I mentioned it a little bit earlier, but you're actually celebrating the 10th anniversary of this show this year.
It is the 10th anniversary, and I got to admit, I mean, it's like a startup business. The first 3 to 4 years takes twice as long to do as what you want to do and twice as much money. But getting over that startup hump, and that's what I enjoy. I love startup phase, whether it's a business or a community initiative. But getting over that hump was a real tribute to the volunteers, to the board, to the London International Airport, getting through COVID. And you know that tailgate model, Matt, the patrons will never let us go back.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? It worked so well that you still do it.
Families make events. So grandma and grandpa come in their car, mom and dad with the kids in the car next. They pop out a table, play some cornhole, have a picnic lunch. Now we got neighborhoods. So we got 20, 30 neighbors buying spots all together and they set up their tables and people can get in easy and they're out of the park in under 40 minutes and home. That's just we're in a family entertainment business and people want that convenience. Yeah, it's a model that works well at our airport. I can't foresee us ever changing that going forward. It's established now, and
I'm glad to hear it. It's excellent. And the show is also, if someone listening hasn't been to an air show here in London before, it's truly international, right? I mean, people are coming from across the country, across the continent, and in some cases from around the world.
so Matt, last year we had patrons from every province and territory, every state in the United States, and 27 countries attend the show. Approximately one-third of the patrons typically are Londoners on any given day. The other two-thirds are coming from further afield.
Oh, wow. So it's an economic engine as well.
Absolutely. I mean, I think we're about $8 to $11 million worth of economic benefit that we bring to that city the weekend, and that's not even talking about the cruise, Matt. I mean, you've been to the show. We
Right.
most of a lot of our aircraft are coming from the United States. We've had the Red Arrows from England.
You had that Australian group that came in a few years ago.
This is an international event, and as you know, we've been recognized for the last 4 years running as the best air show in North America. You know, as Londoners, we don't like to pound our chests too much, but this is on the backs of the volunteers. We and the City of London and London citizens. Crews want to be here, and people come to London. They enjoy the air show, but then they stay in London, and that experience, they're coming back. We're doing some really cool things.
Yeah, and you just mentioned volunteers, and I wanted to ask about that. How many? I mean, you must need an army of volunteers to be able to pull something like this off. And if someone's listening and they want to get involved, how would they connect with you and your team?
So typically we have 400 to 500 volunteers over the course of the weekend. Some are there for multiple shifts, some are there for single shifts. And yeah, we're always looking for good people to join us. The Airshow London website, there's a volunteer box there that folks can leave their information and we'll get back to them. We really want to make it a positive volunteer experience too. So we go out of our way to make sure they're well fed, well hydrated,
Well entertained.
and well
That's
entertained.
for sure. Yeah.
And make sure they have earplugs, just like the patrons, because there's a lot of afterburners rocketing by.
That's for sure. Now let's talk numbers. How many people attend the show in any given year, and also, how many planes, how many pilots, how many crews can you expect to come here to London for that week? They arrive a little bit earlier than the show starts, and then it's pretty neat to see them all fly out Sunday and Monday and Tuesday as well.
So we'll start with the air crew. So they typically start to trickle in on the Wednesday. They lot try and get it on Thursday. Primarily the flying guys come in on the Thursday because they want to practice. We have formal practices on the Friday before the Friday evening show. So we have in the neighborhood of 300 air crew attending, and that brings us a flying display of about 45 different aircraft, but then a static display of about 50 aircraft. And we try and keep it as diverse as possible. So that's a pretty formidable number of airframes
Yeah, it's huge.
at for any air show. Patron wise, we're 40,000 people over the course of the weekend.
Two-thirds of those people you mentioned are not from London. They're coming from somewhere else.
They're coming from further than an hour away. Most of the folks have attended before. About 70% of the folks are repeat attendees. We have to build an infrastructure to support all them in the middle of an airfield.
Yeah, I mean, it's a small city at the airport, right? And again, the event isn't just set up to showcase some of the, biggest and fastest and coolest aircraft out there. It's also, and you mentioned this a little bit earlier, it's also about giving back to the community. And I wanted to talk about that. I wanted to ask you about, who's benefiting from the money that's raised in the air show right here in London.
So since over the last 10 years, we've given back to the community about $500,000. And we've also put money in reserves because someday we are gonna have a rainy weekend. And
You could have rain 2 days in a row, and that's going to be a tough year.
Children's Health is the primary recipient of most of our donations, but we also give to veterans charities as well as a number of community groups. So we have a portal on our website, and if community groups want to apply for the board to consider them as part of our charitable donations, that occurs through September and October. Please do take a look at that. And also, Matt, I mean, you were instrumental with the Thames Valley School Board, and that is another big feature for us to give back to the community. So the Snowbirds and Canadian Forces spend a fair amount of time with the students from Norton Wolfe School of Aviation at Fanshawe, as well as the University of Western Ontario aviation students. But you were part of the group that said grade six curriculum covers aviation.
Tell us about that.
So Friday, we basically have every grade six student in the city come out to the show. We have over 5,000 kids, as well as a few specific programs for high school kids. There are some aviation programs. And yeah, we hope to introduce them to all the different aspects of aviation.
Yeah, and just think, right here in London, we've got, as you just mentioned, the joint program between Fanshawe and Western, the aviation program, and this is really a bit of a feeder program for that. You can show a kiddo in grade six. This is something that you could do.
And Matt, and you probably know, you probably remember you and I were standing by the fence with a bunch of other kids in those shows, and it's amazing how many aviators, how many folks in the aerospace industry there are in Canada and internationally from London, all inspired by the London Airshow. So if we can inspire those students and give some money back to the community, that makes it all worthwhile for the board, for the volunteers.
Well, let's talk specific. So you mentioned that there's a Friday component for schools. There's a Friday evening hour of power, I think it's called, which I think that's a very great name. What does that look like, and what does the rest of the weekend look like?
So yeah, we have aircraft arriving on the Thursday, and the Snowbirds and the Canadian Forces meet with the school, the Fanshawe and Western on Thursday as well, and talk to the students. Friday, yeah, from 9 o'clock to about 1 o'clock, we host the 5,000 grade six students from around the city. About 1 o'clock, they start to head back to their schools. We have to do a few practices with the aircraft that are going to be flying in the show.
Yeah, practice sounds pretty important, right? They're pretty close to each other. They're moving pretty quickly.
It's almost as much for us too to know what to expect and how to coordinate them. So
Sure, 100%.
every year's different and dynamic. But by 3:30, the gates are open and folks are coming in for the Friday night show. So they'll arrive, get in their parking spot. We have trolleys to take them back to going through the static displays, the parked aircraft, and talk to the crews. And about 5 o'clock, aircraft start arriving and our formal program begins. And this year, we probably talk about it later, but we've got all kinds of fantastic aircraft attending that are going to be flying. We're going to cap the show this year with an act called Skywriter, which has pyrotechnics that he launches off an aerobatic airplane, and then a large fireworks display to complement it at the end. So Friday night if you can get out there, it is one of the coolest air shows that you'll see. Saturday, Sunday, gates open about 10 o'clock, and our flying display starts at 1 o'clock. And it's a 4 hour flying display, goes right till 5 o'clock, capped with the Snowbirds at the end. It's one aircraft after another, very exciting. And yeah, once the displays wrap up, the folks usually can get out in under 40 minutes. And again, we got trolleys going back to the static area where kids and families and people interested can talk to crews and look at airframes that they probably will never see again from the different militaries and different branches of the militaries, as well as folks at Fanshawe and some of the civilian things that are going on at London Airport. So it is a full day for a family. Yeah, having their car there if it's hot or grandma needs to take a seat, that's complimentary. And this year we actually on the app, we're going to have a live feed going. And so there'll be lots of interactive stuff, talking to the pilots that have just flown, talking about what's going up next.
Oh, that's great. So there's something happening in between. And then every once in a while, we're treated to a WestJet flight landing as well. And that can sort of slow the airport down a little bit.
Commercial flights, whenever they're inbound, that's inbound or outbound is a 20-minute delay for us. So we try and make as exciting as possible in between. And but yeah, once other than those breaks, we try and make sure there's always a plane on stage in the air. And the nice thing about an air show is there isn't a bad seat because it's happening above you.
That's for sure. And so Friday is pretty cool. Sounds like you got some new stuff happening in the later evening on the Friday, which I think is fantastic. And as you said, Saturday and Sunday, that's a full day of family-oriented entertainment. Really great experience. So let's talk about this year. Right, it's 10th anniversary. What can we look forward to?
So our static display this year, we'll start there. We got the C5 Galaxy again, the largest military transport. Open it up and people can walk through it. We're going to have a whole variety of aircraft from fighters through to cargo haulers that the crews will be there to talk to you and tell you what they do and how they became those aviators and what their airplanes can do. So it's a really interactive experience for the family. And then, yeah, our flying display, we got just an amazing flying display. We're featuring the F-22 demo team again from the U.S. Air Force, and they're the loudest, most dynamic. I mean, I've seen them 1,000 times.
That aircraft it's huge and it's loud.
It's very loud. We got the Snowbirds finishing the show, and I mean, the number of planes in their flying demonstration is what awes audiences internationally. So, as many times as I've seen them, I'm always gobsmacked by what they can do. We've got Ospreys.
I've never seen an Osprey.
So it takes off vertically like a helicopter and then transitions to an aircraft. And there's a limited number of those frames. We got a Marine Osprey coming in. We've got a demonstration team from Altus Air Force Base flying the C-17 cargo plane in conjunction with a KC-135 tanker.
That's great. There's going to be some, I'm sure, F-16s, F-15s.
A lot of Fs, and then we've got an incredible vintage aircraft, World War II aircraft display this year from the Timmerman collection down in Chatham, Ontario. So we've got a Spitfire, we got a P-51, we got a Sea Fury, we got a Corsair, and they're going to have a Messerschmitt Bf-109 on the ground, which they own it. They have it's not flying yet for air shows, but it's a frame that there's very few of left in the world. So yeah, anybody with any aviation history passion is going to be blown away by hearing those aircraft buzzing around for us. ITPS, the test pilot school that is actually based here in London, are putting together a full demonstration too of the capabilities that they teach military pilots from around the world. That's going to be something unique to London that you won't see in any other air show. So yeah, we got a CP-140 Aurora as well.
That's a Canadian airframe, right?
They're phasing it out. So this is going to be one of the last chances to see this aircraft, but it's been doing sub hunting through the Cold War for 45 years, and it's a pretty impressive performance plane. So yeah, I'm only scratching the surface. There won't be anything that isn't cool and inspiring in the air. We really try and make it a high performance experience and a real diversity of aircraft.
Yeah, of that I have no doubt.
I also forgot the U.S. Navy Growler F-18 Super Hornet demonstration, and we had them a few years back, and again, probably the top three demonstration teams that I've seen in 40 years of air shows. So yeah, sorry, I had to sneak that in there.
No, I'm glad you mentioned it. I'm glad. That sounds like a really great lineup, and I know that it's going to be an incredible show because it always is. We're just about out of time. Jim, thanks for coming on the podcast. And before you go, is there anything that you wanted to talk about? Anything you wish I had asked about, or something that we need to know about the show?
Matt, first of all, thanks for having me. And yeah, after 10 years, I'm not sure where it's going to be 10 years from now, but I know it's going to be bigger, better, and giving back to the community exponentially more. I think this is something that Londoners should be very proud of. We have the best of London out there volunteering. And one of the reasons that we're attracting all these patrons from all over the world, all over the country, all over North America is again because London is a fantastic host town. And I think we should give ourselves a lot more credit for what we can do on the international stage. And Airshow London is a good example of that.
Oh, I think it is. It's an excellent example. And thanks to you and your team, thanks to your army of volunteers. Maybe you'll get some more volunteers after this conversation, after people have learned a bit more about how accessible that opportunity is. And anybody out there listening, I really encourage you to go. It's a fantastic event.
I should say as well, ticket sales have been fantastic. So we are sold out for Saturday already. Sunday is Sunday is selling fast and should be sold out by the end of August. Friday night is always picks up as we get closer to the show. But again, for those that haven't attended a Friday night show and only a Saturday or Sunday show, it's a much different experience and it's a much different show. One that I personally think is really, really cool. It's the highlight of my air show weekend.
Yeah, it is. It's incredible, and I think that that's really good information for people to know that the tickets are going fast, and that if you're planning on attending September 5th to 7th, then head over to the website, get your tickets there. Jim, thanks for spending some time with us here. This is probably a great place to leave it. I want to thank you and your team, the army of volunteers that make this happen. It's London putting its best foot forward. No question in my mind about that. And to the Londoners who are out there considering going to this, I hope to see you there.
Here we go.
That's right. Here we go. And I'll see you at the air show.
I look forward to it, my friend.
We'll be right back.
Discover London Bicycle Cafe, home of family cargo and urban cycling. Test ride an e-bike along riverside trails to see how easy moving through our city can really be. London Bicycle Cafe at the Forks of the Thames. See you soon.
So, there you have it. Truly, a world-class event and something that all of us living in London should be proud of. As always, I hope you've learned something new today. I'm grateful for Jim giving up some of his time to be with us, and I want to remind you that if you're thinking about getting tickets for the show, they're going fast, and you can get them at airshowlondon.com. Summer is coming to a close. I want to thank you for being a part of this learning curve that I've been on as I figure all of this podcasting stuff out. This show is for you. And I appreciate all of you who have reached out with positive comments, constructive criticism, I'm learning, advice, and to pitch new shows. There will be at least one more episode coming out early next week, so please give a follow wherever you get your podcasts so you don't miss it. Things are going to be busy for the first couple of weeks in September, for you and for me. For me, we're taping the first Newsmakers program for Rogers Channel 13. It'll be airing for 2 weeks beginning September 15th. If you don't have Rogers Cable, the London Knights games are coming, so there's never been a better time to subscribe. As well, once the program has aired on Rogers Channel 13, I'll post the audio of the conversation right here on this podcast. So, until next time, please subscribe. Please share this episode on your social media platforms and with your friends and family. We're growing. We're well past the 500 download mark, and we're picking up speed. Thanks for listening. Goodbye for now. And talk to you soon, London.